I found myself at this big, huge, nice resort in Thailand, and it's just me, and it was like, this ain't all it was cracked up to be, and I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people. Skateboarding was my outlet. That was like my thing that I did, and it took me away from all the troubles at home and school, and the trauma that I dealt with, and that was just my thing that I could do by myself, alone.
So you started the event, Skatefest, and then it turns into a full-fledged nonprofit. Like, what were some of those skills from content creation that carried over into you being able to do Skatefest and lead Skatefest?
Welcome back to the Content Parlor. I'm your host, Deon. We are joined here today by a very historical guest.
Yeah.
Super excited about this episode. We got a little bit of action, a little bit of adventure, and a little bit of, well, I'll say a lot of business. Continuing with that theme of our 10-year anniversary, it's a perfect time to reflect on some memory lane type of things.
Yeah.
So we'll get into it on this episode. But before we do that, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. The Content Parlor is the social club for content creators. I say the social club. This is the one to be at. The Content Parlor is your space for equipment rental, studio rental, education, and just developing yourself as a content creator. You can follow us on social media at the social media handle at Content Parlor, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the socials. And be sure to hit the bell notification on YouTube so that you get the latest updates. That's where the full episodes will be featured. We got some special stuff coming up later, talking about the Parlor Awards Conference, as well as some other things that we have cooking up for those content creators out there, or those just interested in content creation in general. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. I'm going to pass it over to my co-host, let him introduce himself, and then we will figure out who this handsome gentleman is in the middle.
All right, I'm Deon. It's good to be back on the Content Parlor. Like Deon said, we're continuing our 10-year anniversary series, and in light of that, we wanted to have some special guests on the show.
Yes.
Some folks that was with us in the beginning and was just a part of our story and helped us to get where we are today. So we have Blake Harris. He needs no introduction, well-known content creator and leader of Skatefest. But I'll let him just tell a little bit about himself, and we'll dig into it.
Yeah, so I am Blake Harris. I'm the executive director of Skatefest Omaha. Okay. We do a lot of skateboarding events, hence the name, but we also do youth programming around the city of Omaha, building different parks and just activating community, centered around the inner city.
Right on. All right. Yeah, man, I know before I knew it was like, dang, Skatefest is big, but we'll get more into that. But yeah, we want to just start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we know you way back. When we first started. But for you, when did you get interested in content creation? Where you was like, man, I like this thing, and I want to learn more about it.
Yeah, for sure. So I never really saw myself as like a creative or an artist or anything like that.
Just an athlete, right? You saw yourself
more of an athlete. I thought I was a numbers guy until I got into college and I saw what real numbers guys actually do. And so I thought that didn't me either. But just getting started with it. I was a part of this organization called Abide Network. Y'all got close ties with them. I do as well. But I was what you call a lighthouse leader at the duplex. We lived in a couple of duplexes. Teddy was actually one of my, it's a long story with it, but he was technically one of my roommates. But there was this guy named Rich Plagman, who was my roommate. We lived together. He was like crazy eccentric dude. Like,
he was.
Never seen anybody like this guy before.
So much energy.
Yeah, and he just had these GoPros. And he just got me into GoPros, and he's like, "Man, let's go out and get this stuff." We was just out doing all these crazy things. He was like, "Man, we gotta film it. We gotta do this." And so I was the one filming and with the GoPro taking pictures and things like that. And we would get back into the editing room, and at first Rich was doing all the editing and stuff like that. And I was like, "Nah, Rich, you should put it like this, and then this, and then this." And I was like, "Dang, like." This is cool. I love doing this. Maybe I could do this more. And that was in college. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I was just going to college just to go to college. But then we all went to church together at Bridge Church, connected with the Vide at that time. And Teddy was someone I looked up to. I didn't really know Deon like that. But y'all started Stable Gray, and I think I was like about to graduate high school or college, or either out of college, fresh out of college. Didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was like, man, we just gonna do this. And so interned with y'all on a couple of shoots, is going down memory lane, looking at y'all equipment and stuff. We were just talking about that, like, man, we use that here. There's photos of me on the job with y'all when y'all was first starting, and that was 10 years ago. I was probably like 20 or something around there. I don't know where I was. If it was 10 years ago, I was 20 because I'm 30. And then just got involved with y'all, and I was like, yeah, this is something I can see myself doing.
Nice.
Right on.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's funny hearing this story from this perspective because, you know, obviously I know how Teddy and I met, but I kind of met you through Teddy.
Yeah.
You know, and I was in the Lighthouse as well, but I had no idea, you know, y'all relationship, and I knew he was living with somebody and all, but hearing it fresh like this is very interesting. Tell me a little bit more about, because when I met you, you already had a GoPro, and you were talking about you had this big vision for traveling and doing like travel vlogging and stuff like that. So tell me how you got the confidence from the editing and the GoPro to then feel like, okay, I'm gonna pick up a camera. And did you do like some personal projects, or what turned that into like confidence?
Yeah, okay. So I started it was definitely, I picked up a camera and just wanted to do marketing before I graduated, because and that's funny, real quick, I had a flashback. Remember that YouTube series you did that we was all acting in?
Yeah.
Stable Gray Show?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we got to throw a clip of this.
We do. It was forgot the batteries or something.
Yeah. Man, you had this whole big vision, and man, we was out there in the streets just filming it, and I remember people would come up to me afterwards like, man, I seen you on you was in this show, man. It was really cool what you're doing. Man, so yeah, just having that experience helped me a lot. But the confidence to do travel vlogging and doing all that stuff. I was working with y'all, and I had like, it was like a little inkling, like, man, maybe this is something that I could do. Maybe I could see myself doing this. And then I was traveling around a lot with the Doslers before. I never knew people could actually travel like that.
Yeah, especially travel like that on a budget.
Right, man.
Yeah, I thought it cost so much money to do that.
Yeah, I was a broke college kid. Didn't have nothing. Grew up from nothing, and then I met them, and they doing all these things, and I'm like, bro, this is possible. So I was traveling around like with my GoPro, like taking photos and doing videos and stuff like that already.
Was it on the trip to Costa Rica? You got hit by that wave?
Oh man,
they lost the GoPro. You had some dope footage. You got this big old wave, and just like it, I lost my sunglasses. It knocked sunglasses off my face. Thought I was gonna die.
Yeah.
it knocked his GoPro off his wrist. He had it like tied to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so sad.
Wow.
But yeah, I was just traveling around, taking like photos and doing some videos and stuff like that. And then I worked with y'all, and then I went on a study abroad trip.
Okay.
And then when I was in study abroad, I was like doing all the research of like where to go, like things to see and places to go and do, things like that. And while I was doing my research, I came across these like travel vloggers / content creators, and I just got so like mesmerized and enthused by what they were doing, and they were all young like me, and I was just like, man, this is what I want to do. And so was just kind of like going around filming everything. I was like, man, I'm gonna make the dopest travel video ever of my trip. I'm gonna be a travel vlogger. Got home, the video was like 30 seconds long. I never put together a vlog, but I was still like, man, this is what I'm gonna do. And so, yeah, man, I just like researched like who these people are. Like did some like nerdy stuff. Like I was like researching like where they were from, like anything about them that was public facing. I would just research and figure out how did they do this, and then I just learned how to do it. And then I was working with, before I knew it, I was working with like hotels and resorts, traveling across the world and stuff. And yeah, that's how it started, man.
So I don't want to just glide over that just for people, because the other, aspiring content creators going to be listening. It's like, you didn't go to school for this, right?
Yeah.
So just how many hours do you think you put into learning into the craft and getting great at what you were doing?
Yeah. So, man, that's one thing that you need to know, and y'all do know, because I was watching y'all right after college. I took learning how to, I didn't know anything. I just bought my first camera, like official camera. I had GoPros, but bought my first official camera fresh out of college after the study abroad trip, and I literally went so ham on like studying. Like I took, I didn't have a job at the time, and literally all I did was I was like, man, I'm gonna lock myself in the room, and I'm 8 hours a day. This is my job. And so what I did was I found content creators on YouTube, and I took it as like I was studying for college exams. So the class would be the video, however long it is, 10, 20, 30 minutes. And I would take college level notes on those videos. And the weekend would be my test day. And so I would go out on the weekend and create. But all those 5 days, Monday through Friday, I was locked in my room, like just taking notes for hours a day.
Interesting.
And then part of that was going out on jobs with y'all too, to like see how y'all do stuff. And
very interesting, very cool. Yeah, that's so, and then so you finished the internship with Stable Gray. And that was kind of a transition period over time. But it looked like you went into Batman's Batcave for like 2 years, and then you come out on the other side with Skatefest and, all of these different things, you had programming and stuff going on. How did you bridge the gap between your business education, content creation, and then Skatefest? Because I remember on one of our shoots, you brought your skateboard. And I was looking at you, I was like, this is really serious about the skateboard stuff. I could see that was going to be a part of whatever lifestyle you were going to live. Not necessarily, programming, but you were going to be commuting on a skateboard or something. So how does all of that tie together?
Yeah, so growing up, that was my outlet. I didn't have a very great upbringing. My mom was great. I'm grateful that I had a loving mother. A lot of people don't have a loving mother, but I feel like that's all I had. I didn't have nothing else.
Shout out to the loving mothers.
Yeah, love your kid. But skateboarding was my outlet. That was like my thing that I did. And it took me away from all the troubles at home and school, and the trauma that I dealt with And that was just my thing that I could do by myself alone. It took me away from all those things. And so skateboarding was my thing that I took everywhere. I took my skateboard to Costa Rica. Me and Teddy and I went to Costa Rica on one of these early trips. Took my skateboard to Costa Rica. Took my skateboard to Barcelona and all those countries that I went to. I had my skateboard with me. So skateboarding has always been a huge part of my life. And while I was fast forward to when I'm working with all these hotels and resorts and stuff, traveling and doing those things, I just felt empty. Like I had these big goals, these big grandiose goals, and I shot for them, and I accomplished most of everything I wanted to do. But while I was I found myself at this big, huge, nice resort in Thailand, but I was by myself. It's just me. I'm in this huge, nice, great resort, and it's just me. And it was like, dang, this ain't all it was cracked up to be. And I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people. It was just very self-fulfilling, and I needed to fulfill a different part of myself, something that was bigger than me. I wanted to do something that was bigger than me. And so 2020 hit. You ain't getting no travel video clients. Yeah, you ain't traveling nowhere. And so that was when I feel like a lot of people made a shift, and I was one of them. And I was like, man, I want to give back to the community. I'm gonna just throw a little skateboard event. And that's how it started. Through that event, turned out there was more kids like me using skateboarding to deal with their past traumas or just love skateboarding like I did. And that thing blew up. And from there, I was like, definitely more to be done. And so, so that happened in September 21. And then after that, started the youth programming. And next year, opened up a skate shop with it. Some things fell out with my business partner, so it didn't really last long. Shout out to y'all for 10 years. Like, that's something, like, man, that's like a marriage, bro. That's literally like you and business partner. Like, y'all married.
It's like a second marriage for sure. Well, for him, I'm not married.
So just things just started to blow up from. After things fell out with the business, I just went hardcore on Skatefest, and things just started to blow up, and we just doing a ton of stuff now.
So I want to pause on that too, because I think it was something really big and powerful that was said there for content creators and just entrepreneurs in general. The thing that really took off for you, it sounds like, was having a heart to serve and help others. So when you're starting a business, just a piece of advice for all content creators and entrepreneurs out there, always think about the value that you're adding and the impact that it's going to have on people. Because generally the thing that is going to impact or serve the most number of people is when you have a heart to help others, right? The whole goal of a business is to add or create value to a society, right? The goal is not to make a bunch of money. If that's your goal, you're going to be miserable with whatever you're doing. You got to have something besides money, because money it comes and goes, right? So that's just a little piece of advice out there for entrepreneurs.
Right on. So you start the event, Skatefest, and then it turns into a full-fledged nonprofit. Like, what were some of those skills from content creation that carried over into you being able to do Skatefest and to lead Skatefest?
Yeah, for sure. Before I answer that, I'm gonna touch on what you said a little bit. Just to piggyback off what you said, like, I wasn't making a ton of money. I was making money, but I wasn't like loaded in cash. But you could equate the same thing to being like, I was successful in achieving my goal of going to all these hotels and resorts across the world. And so I was successful. If you equate that to the money, but it was just soulless. Like, you know, it wasn't.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of had an idea of like how that would make you feel when you got to that point, which we do, right? We we feel like it's there's something that I need to help me feel a certain kind of way, and then you get that, and then you realize, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
I know that feeling all too well from travel. I've had a handful of solo trips and then some group trips, and I tend to enjoy, in terms of the memories that are created, unless I have a specific reason why I'm going alone, I tend to enjoy the ones with a group a bit more, because you get to share those experiences with somebody. You know, it's hard coming back and saying like, oh man, let me tell you about how much fun it's like, I believe you had a good time, good for you. But they weren't there, so they can't quite understand what you experienced. So I get that.
Yep. And I mean, group trips are good. I mean, solo trips are good too sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's just that I was just there like, dang, what am I really doing? Like, I'm not leaving anything behind with this. I don't know, it just didn't have that much like for me. Like, it didn't fulfill me. So.
That's beautiful. I think commend you as well for being honest with yourself and feeling that feeling. A lot of people just, especially as men, we're taught to just suppress that type of thing, right? And just, hey, I'm at a resort and I'm, and just.
Yeah, what you doing?
Like, this is what's supposed to make me happy, so I'm going to be happy with it.
Right.
Just for
that's
dope. But fast forward. I was still, to get to your question, Teddy, I was still like doing my media marketing stuff, but I had taken a large step back. So I was making like a part-time salary and doing Skatefest part-time, and then using my part-time salary to fund Skatefest. So I'm like working like all these out. I was working full-time pretty much Skatefest, and then part-time my media and marketing. But this was just like way more fulfilling to me. And so it did, like, doing this full-time and then this part-time, it didn't feel like a job, but this felt like a job. And I figured out that like somehow like you can make money doing this, and so that's why I was like, bruh, I'm doing this. Like, what? Like, forget this completely. I'm doing this. And so I knew like it was real hard at first. I was broke as a joke, but I just kept at it, and
so it was probably like you was broke as a joke, but you kept at it. So if it wasn't the money keeping you in it, what was keeping you in it? What kept you going?
Just the passion for it, and it just couldn't, like, I couldn't do anything else. Like, I couldn't, like, I'm not gonna, like.
Just so fulfilling. It's just like you just kept doing it.
Yep. And if it wasn't gonna work and I had to get a regular job, I was still gonna do it on the side.
There you go.
So give me an idea of the numbers. Like, when you first started off, how many people would show up versus like now?
The numbers are steady.
Okay.
The numbers are steady. It's not really about the numbers. It's about kind of like the impact you're having with the. Man, we can get into nonprofit business. It's crazy how it all works.
Right on.
But yeah, the numbers are steady. We get a lot of people at every event. We're doing 3 events per year now. It was 1. But there's just a need in the community for something like this. And I was finna move to California too.
I remember you saying, or at least talking about that. Okay.
Yup. And then 2020 happened. It just stopped a lot of things.
You ain't lying.
And then that's when my mind shifted a little bit. I'm like, man, why not make Omaha better? You know, why would I waste? And I feel like this is just it's played out, people talking about this, but it's so true. Like, man, stop going to California, y'all. Stay here. We need some stuff here. But
shout out Randy Goodwin.
That's right.
I forgot where we were going, but I'm here.
Well, on that note, it's a good time to take a sip.
Oh, goodness.
I have in front of me the delicious, what flavor is this anyway? Oh, this is Pink Crush from Idle Vital. They just opened up a new location on, 76th and Cass, Omaha,
76th
Nebraska.
and Cass.
So shout out Idle Vital. You can still hit up the location on 24th, just off Lake Street, but this is my second one today. I had something else right before this. So, yeah, every time I go in there, they take at least $20 from me.
If we're in the area,
mad that I'd be so happy.
we stopping through.
Right. So, anyway, shout out Idle Vital.
Shout out them.
Now, I had the pleasure of hearing you do one of your TED Talks. You did a TED Talk. And in there, you talked about this skate park. Is that what you call it? Skate park project. And the interesting thing about that, like the location of it is where is around like where my grandparents live, so where my mom grew up. The spots like across from King Science Center. But can you talk a little bit about that that project?
For sure. So yeah, man. I mean, we around that time when that project came into fruition, I think it was year 2 Skatefest, that I had transitioned full time into Skatefest and finally making this salary, and I'm able to sustain myself. And I'm just going hard. Like I'm doing all the things. Like we doing youth programming. We got into doing youth programming with the Omaha public school system. We're in a bunch of schools running this, teaching kids how to skate, just running it up. In a good sense, like not like like it's not all about running it up with the money. Sometimes it's about running it up with the impact you have. But we're in a ton of schools, working, throwing these events, putting them on, doing giveaways, doing all these things, just going hard. And then I had got this weird message from Jewel Rogers. Some of you guys may know of her.
Legend. She's already a legend. How you a young
state
legend?
Poet.
Young legend.
Future state poet at that time.
Yup. I had no idea who she was or what she did. She just texted me about like a project she wanted to do. And I was like, all right, bet. And so we met up, and then she said she wanted to put a skate ramp on her property that she owned. And I was taken aback at first because I'm like, bruh, you do not look like the type of person that wants to put a skate ramp on your property. Like she came in with like a dress or something, because she works at Noddle, and so she came in like she had just got off work. And so she's like business suited up, like, and she's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this skate ramp on my property. I'm like, what?
Like, what are you talking about?
And then she told me the address, and so after the meeting, I went to the property, and then I guess I should take it back a little bit, which is, so I didn't know my dad. Well, I did know my dad. I met him one time, and my mom gave me the option to see him again when I was like 8 years old. And of course, like I'm a scared little 8-year-old and never seen a man or never really had a good relationship with a man in my life. So I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to see that dude ever again. I could care less.
Right.
And so, but it turns out that side of my family was looking for me my whole life after that. And then they found me when I was like 21. And then they're like showing me pictures of my dad, telling me I'm like him in a ton of different ways. Like he was doing a whole bunch of stuff, traveling the world. Like this man, it's not a good thing, but this man had so many women. Like yes, and like he was just like using these women to like travel everywhere, and it was crazy. And I guess he was into a lot of different things, good and bad. But she was showing me these pictures, and there was like this hub in my family, and it was my grandparents' house, and it was like the place to go if you was like related to me or to my family or just in the neighborhood. And people got married in this house, babies went to this house to the hospital. If if you were down on your luck, this was the place to go to. And then fast forward, I go look for where this house is located or this property, and turns out that was the same property that was in the family photos and all the things that my sister was showing me when I met up with her.
What?
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yep. Since then, it got bulldozed over.
Yeah.
Because after my grandparents passed, the family didn't really take care of it. But yeah,
Man,
I was
that's
like,
some divine something.
Right?
yeah, I was like, man, all right, if this ain't God, I don't know what is.
There's a lot of vacant properties. It just happened to be that one.
Yep.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Yeah, that's like that made me confirm that I was like on my purpose. Like, this is exactly where I need to be doing, what I need to be doing. So yeah, we built that skate ramp there. We do skate school on it.
Okay.
And it's just kind of crazy because my grandparents' thing was when I was preparing for my TED Talk, I'm like calling up my sister who found me when I was 21. We got a great relationship now. And I'm like, man, tell me more about it. Tell me more about like what happened with the family and stuff like that. And then she was like, yeah, it was just the theme of the house was just drop in. Just drop in. You don't need a call. You don't need a text. Just drop in. And it's crazy now because the drop in is actually a skateboard trick, and it's like one of the first tricks that you learn as a skateboarder.
Be kidding
and
me.
we're teaching kids how to drop in at that property.
Dang.
Wow.
That's crazy. It's a skateboard term, huh?
Yeah, the drop in is like the first one.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting, some of our personal overlap, because my relationship with my dad was dysfunctional, especially early in life. And I also have that number in common, 8 years old. That's when my mom and my dad parted ways, and I didn't see him again until about 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, show my age a little bit, 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years went by, and I didn't speak to my dad. So I feel that. I appreciate you opening up and sharing that story.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and then you just kind of glossed over here TED Talks. What? So you've done 2 TED Talks?
So I did one, and then I did another speaking engagement.
That's crazy. So how did that come about? Did they hear your story on the news, or how did they find out about? Because I saw they ran a story on the news for you as well. I think twice now.
Man, I've been on the news so many times. Not to brag, but I don't even look at them anymore. But no, it wasn't because of the news. It was actually because of Jewel Rogers. So she had done a TED Talk too, and she kind of like talked a little bit about the ramp and how that came about. She had no idea about like the true story behind the ramp with my family and stuff.
Yeah.
She knew there was something there, but she didn't know the full breadth of it. Yeah, so she just talked about the ramp and how the story behind it and how it like helped out the community and the community came together. More like the community aspect of it in her TED Talk. And then the TED Talk like leader or the person who puts them on in Omaha, because there's like a huge network of TED Talk events. And then the Omaha one, she asked her like, hey, like what are, who was that person you were talking about, Blake? And we met, or she told her about me, and then she emailed me, and I was like, man, when I got that email, the first email, before this, I was like, bro, I'm not a public speaker.
Right.
Like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I did, like, my first podcast I was, like, shriveled in my seat. Like, I don't know. But, man, I got that message, and I just sunk in my seat because I was like, bruh.
You already knew. You already know.
Because you can't say no to something like that.
You can't say no to that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you cannot say no to that. So I said yes. And I was just like, bruh, I can't believe I'm doing this. So it was about, I don't know, like 4 to 6 months before it was due. and I had to come up with a speech centered around connection. And I centered around that whole topic with my family and my dad and skateboarding and how it like impacted me as a youth and the ramp, and kind of like went into that story with a little bit more intricate detail and wove it all together, and went to literally like every single like public speaking meetup group. I didn't even know these existed.
Really?
And I just like, man, I probably told that. I had 4 months to prepare. See, this is how you know you're a creative or an artist, because I had 4 months to prepare. I wasn't done with that speech until 10 days before the test. Never did a speech before in my life. And so, man, I stopped everything I was doing and I just straight practiced that.
Yeah.
Right. Because with those, there's like a certain format you got to follow, right?
Yep.
Or something like that.
You don't get no notes. You don't get no thing behind you. Sometimes you do. But no notes, no cards. You can't stop and look at notes. Nothing. You just got to raw dog it through. Mine was like 15 or 17 minutes. Came out longer than I wanted it, or it was supposed to be. It's supposed to only be like 10 minutes. But
shout out Jewel, pulling people up and bringing them along with her. Shout out on that. Very cool. So the construction of the ramp, was there like some kind of standards that you had to follow? Like, how did you figure out how to develop a ramp for skateboarding? You know, a lot of people skateboard, but they don't necessarily know how to build a ramp or even build a skateboard sometimes.
Yeah, you got to find the person who knows how to skateboard and build, which is luckily Jewel knew a person. Her partner actually did that. And so, yeah, he built it. Like, man, y'all got to meet this dude because this dude is crazy. Like, he is like a creative numbers person, which is like insane to me. That's like rare. Like the way his mind works is crazy. So this thing, it looks like a regular ramp, but when you start peeling stuff back, it's like, bruh, this is insane. Like you could probably hit that thing with a car and it wouldn't move.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, you could probably drive like a ATV on that thing and it's solid.
Interesting.
Okay.
Now that one, was it built on location, or because I know I saw one in the warehouse that is supported by like the what's it called, the Omaha mobile stage and things like that. So is that the same ramp or is that a different one?
Yeah, so we got a partner. We all work out of this big warehouse where we do projects out of. So it's just like a bunch of different nonprofits together that pay rent, and we just do all our projects out of there.
Really? Okay.
So then it has to be, was it deconstructed and taken to the site?
Yeah.
Wow, so that's like a whole process just to get it there. And
them things is heavy, bro. Like we had so many people helping us in the hot summer sun, man. It was boiling. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Nebraska gets hot like that for sure. With all that humidity. Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So I understand, like, yes, Skatefest and the youth and the skaters, but it's, how do you see like just the perception within, you know what I'm saying, the city on skaters now? 'Cause I know y'all do a lot of like, is it advocacy or doing, or because I've seen now, you know, skaters being more embraced, being included in the design of new spaces. Like you see over Millwork Common, you see skate ramps, and then over here at the park that's just on Bedford, Adams Park.
Man,
that's like for all wheels or whatnot. So
and
can you talk about that a little bit?
The trails.
It's like it's pretty dope to see, because you just see all this stuff that was put in place to keep skaters away, to keep people from skating.
Yeah, I mean, at first, man, it's so hard. Like, it was so hard to work with the city. Like, you just get roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. But they got to let us rent the parks. So we rented the parks, man. We just kept doing good work. And then it came into like, all right, like we don't even gotta like low key keep this low key, but we don't even pay for the park rentals anymore. They just, yeah, go ahead.
Dang.
And so it's just, man, had to like shine a new light on skateboarding and show that like, hey, it ain't just a bunch of little crazy kids doing crazy things. You know, there's actual like community and people doing good things. But at first it was just like we got the solid no with everything that we get, everything we wanted to do. But now it's like you said, the skaters are collaborating with the city. We're collaborating with the city. There's other skateboarding organizations doing collaborations with the city. Like one park just got revamped. It's a DIY skate park. So skaters built it, but it's allowed by the city. So they just let them do their thing.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this
right?
is me not like being like in the skater community, but just seeing and watching from afar and just seeing like I could just see the change. You know what I'm saying? And just how people talk about it and how it's being embraced and included. I'm just like, yeah, because I see y'all out there, you know what I'm saying, like working hard to change that narrative and to build those relationships.
Yeah, and working with the schools has helped a lot. We just man, it's so crazy to think because I used to get in trouble for skating at school, but now we're in like
teaching it at school.
Yeah,
That's
man, we
crazy.
teaching it at school. Man, we just hit 25 schools this year.
Man, congratulations, man.
We was doing it
great.
21 schools at one time. So week by week, we was doing 21 schools like in a week. Like that's insane. That blows my mind that like we're able to actually do this. It blew my mind when they actually let us come in and use their gym to skateboard in. Yeah. And it just continues to blow my mind how just accepting and more accepting is being. I mean, if you look in like California or some of the Western states, it's like skateboarding is everywhere, man. Like, why not here?
Dope. So, so what's next? Obviously, you've built up the platform. Have a brand now. It's not just a logo. It's not just a website, right? So it sounds like you're using some of the marketing things that you learned early on to help bring this thing to life. So I'm assuming you have a plan going forward of where you want to take it next. What does that look like, and how can people support that if they watch this?
Yeah, we're looking at a building in the North Omaha area. I won't give specifics.
Okay.
I'll just let y'all know we're looking at something right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. It's already grown way more than I ever thought it would be. Like I said before, I just intended to throw a little event.
Right.
And so every year, like I'm having to set new goals. But I love it, man, because it's selfless, man. It's not for me, and man, that's where I wanted it, what I wanted it to be. But yeah, so building next, we just started we got a print shop business. Yeah, we just yeah, we got all like the print shop equipment and all the professional like crazy screens and stuff.
I need a business card.
Oh,
Yeah, hit me up if you need them t-shirts or any type of merch made. Let me know.
merch too? Okay.
Yep, let me know. So about to launch that. But you can still hit me up. And yeah, you can reach us at skatefestomaha.com, at Skatefest Omaha on the socials. Yeah.
And then if people want to keep in, if your story resonates with people, how do they connect with you as well?
You can reach me at Blake at skatefestomaha.com, or you could, if you want to know about my TED Talk and my life journey and some of the experience I experienced and how skateboarding is such a passion for me. I have a TED Talk on YouTube. It's called The Drop-In, but you could just look up Blake Harris TED Talk. That'll work too.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the notes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Dope.
Right
Super
on.
dope. Anything else? Any other?
No, that's it, man. We thanks for coming on and celebrating 10 years with us, sharing story. Man, it's amazing just to see like from where you started to where you're at now and where you're headed and what you're continuing to do.
Yeah, same to y'all, man. I was there right at the start when I was there before y'all even started Stable Gray, and I saw y'all work together. I was telling Teddy, you was working on the sound thing at the church, and then you had the camera, and then y'all probably met up and was like, man, you do this, I do this, let's do this, and then look at all this, man. I'm just like amazed, man.
Crazy.
Y'all killing it, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a crazy story for sure. I think that's how we met was Josh, Pastor Josh Dotzler at Bridge Church. Mm-hmm. Probably one of those days he, told us to high five each other and greet It was something probably like that, and then we start talking. So.
Right.
5-minute rule.
And I remember, I remember there was a time when we were doing service and he had to talk to me because he was displaying something and he wanted to make sure the sound was coming through clear. And so he leaned over and said, "Hey, I need this. Do you got a channel for me?" I was like, "Oh, a little bit about this stuff." Mm-hmm. So that's how it kind of kicked off. Is just, I say God set us up, man. Put us back there next to each other.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy how people meet, man, and then things you never met this person before, and things just spring up like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you, man. You was teaching me about Martin Luther King. I was sitting at the Abide desk thing for whatever reason, and you just popped in. He was like, "Hey, man, da da da." We just started talking about Martin Luther King somehow.
Okay, right on.
That's funny. Well, yeah, thanks for being on the show. Super proud of you, man. Proud of you. Couldn't be more proud. Following your passion and then really using everything that you've learned, not just skateboarding, but marketing and branding and storytelling. And just proud of you, man. I feel like if we could say it was a successful internship, I would say it was a successful internship, man.
Appreciate that.
That's the whole point, right? Is for people to learn something and then go be their version of greatness.
I appreciate y'all willing to take me in, man. It's a real big impact on my life.
Right on.
Dope. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Content Parlor. Be sure to give us a like. Leave a comment below. What part did you like the most? And we'll see you on social media in the next episode of the Content Parlor.